and welcome to the summary of the article of Wirtz and Zeithaml on cost-effective service excellence. My name is Nick Vervoort, and today I'll be walking you through this article. So to start, I'll quickly summarize the abstract. So basically, the article is all about cost-effective service excellence, or CESE for short. And it basically means achieving service excellence at low unit costs. And to gain a deeper understanding, the authors analyzed 10 organizations that have achieved this cost-effective service excellence. And it can basically be achieved through three core strategies, which are a dual culture strategy, an operations management approach, and a focused service factory strategy, which I will explain in the coming slides. And these basically range from the pure approach, so mostly pursuing a dual culture strategy, to combinations of the latter two approaches with the dual culture strategy. So the main arguments of the paper are that service excellence and cost effectiveness are perceived to be in conflict, but actually there are organizations that achieve both, which may sound a little bit hard to understand at first, but I will explain this to you. So basically, cost-effective service excellence, how the authors quote it, refers to a state when an organization delivers simultaneously high levels of customer satisfaction and high levels of productivity, which is often seen as two things that cannot exist simultaneously. So it basically means that an organization delivers cost-effective service excellence if it is simultaneously among the best performers in its competitive set in terms of customer satisfaction and productivity. So these three approaches, like I already mentioned in the previous slide, are dual culture, which aims to provide a high level of service at top quality and low costs. Operations management, which addresses the root causes of its inefficiencies in service processes through approaches that reduce customer-induced variability and therefore reduce potential conflicts between productivity and service excellence, of which I will give a little bit simpler explanation in the coming slides. And third, the focused service factory strategy, which is made possible through highly specialized operation, typically delivering a single type of service, which you will see in the coming slides as, for example, JetBlue, a good example. This is the sort of theoretical framework that the authors proposed, which includes a lot of text, so I won't go over it completely, but it basically summarizes these three approaches that I just mentioned. And in the coming slide, I will give a bit more of a simple overview, which is more understandable, I think, in this short presentation. So three companies that they used as examples for this research are Amazon, which is using the dual culture and the operations management approach. The USAA, which is the post office company in America, and which uses the operations management, and JetBlue, which uses the focused service approach, which I just mentioned. So basically, the Amazon uses the dual culture approach, which focuses an entire organization culturally on the simultaneous pursuit of service excellence and productivity, which is mostly seen as an or. It's not an or instead of an and. Second, the operations management approach is a combination of three approaches, each of which aim to reduce process variability. So buffering front and back office, so bringing front office tasks to the back office, modularizing service, and self-service technologies such as, well, you're probably familiar with the self-scan options at supermarkets, which are more prevalent nowadays, which also, of course, reduces costs. And finally, there's the focused service approach, which focuses on delivering a single type of service to a specific customer segment, which JetBlue is very good at. So a quote from the article that I found really summarizes the main finding is the following. Few service organizations seem to be capable of pursuing a strategy focused on customer satisfaction and productivity at the same time, given that they require distinctive organizational systems, structure, and cultural underpinnings. Therefore, pursuing a dual strategy, combining service excellence that generates high customer satisfaction and low costs, resulting in high productivity, is likely to be a daunting task for most organizations. So it basically summarizes the main idea of the article, which is that it's often not seen as something that can exist simultaneously. So then I proposed some questions, which I got after reading the article. Firstly, how can the cost-effective service excellence approaches be implemented in other sectors than the services industry, which were used as examples in this article? And will that require a different way of doing things, or are they not applicable at all? And second, how should managers analyze their own company and choose which cost-effective service excellence approach is the best fit for their organization themselves? Then I like to make some connections to both the lecture from this article and the real world case. So I think it's a really good connection to the lecture because it focuses on customer value and business model innovation. And I believe the CESE approach is an example of creating customer value while offering an innovative business model for businesses through one of those three approaches that were discussed. And regarding the real world example, I think Nestle is a really good example because it's the largest food company in the world, and in certain branches, it's well on its way to implementing CESE as well. But it must really depend on the branch you look at, though, because um, different approaches are applicable to different branches of this industry. Finally, some takeaways that I thought were really interesting. So the dual culture takeaway would be it needs strong leadership. So, for example, Jeff Bezos at Amazon is a good example who can sell on a motivating purpose, and that needs to be the rationale that employees can buy into. And it's basically about doing more with less, including salaries, benefits, and it must be sold effectively to employees. Then operations management is harder to implement in a services business, and it requires some degree of change in the customer interface. Like I said, the self-scan example of the Albert Heijn supermarkets. And finally, the focus service factory combines smart processes and new technologies, and basically only works when you can provide tailored solutions for well-defined problems with narrowly defined customer segments and high volume markets, like the one JetBlue is targeting with their aviation company. So thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something today. Bye.